Luxurious large SUVs are really expensive, right? Well, not anymore. This is the Jaecoo J8 and it's aimed squarely at established SUVs like the Toyota Kluger and Hyundai Santa Fe. Today we're getting a first taste of this new Chinese SUV and I'm going to tell you 5 things you need to know about it. But before we get into it, don't forget to leave a comment and let us know your thoughts on the new J8 and whether you would buy one, and consider subscribing if you enjoy this video. There are so many Chinese manufacturers bringing new models to Australia, and most of them are electrified, but not this one. The J8 will come exclusively powered by a 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo petrol with fairly modest power outputs. You can get it in front or all-wheel drive, and all of them come mated to an 8-speed automatic. Now let's talk money. Jaecoo is owned by Chinese auto giant Chery, and it's pitched as a more upmarket brand with more luxurious models. And in most cases, extravagant cars mean extravagant price tags. But not in this case. This thing starts at just under $50,000 drive away, making it a relative bargain compared to its closest rivals. First impressions are a big deal, particularly when you're hopping into a car from a brand that you might never have heard of. You simply don't know what to expect. But I can tell you, my first impressions in this car, after spending a couple of hours in it this morning, they're really good. It feels really high quality in here. There's lots of nice materials. There's even a suede headliner in this top spec J8. You've got this crystal drive mode selector that you can flick through sport, snow, normal modes. Normal mode, it even tells you what it's hopping into. You've got a driver monitoring system here, which hasn't been annoying today, which is really good. It's told us we're distracted a few times, but it's not as loud and annoying as a lot of other new cars. Your gear selector is also up here, which has taken some getting used to today because I accidentally popped it into neutral instead of hitting the indicator, which is on this side today, but that's fine. Wireless phone charging pads, there's 2 cup holders here. There's a pretty deep center bin down here as well. The only annoying thing is the USB-C and USB-A are over here on this side, so they're on the sort of wrong side. So for the driver, you've got to reach under. There's also, what I thought I should point out, is what looks like the Peter Brock energy polarizer, which you can show your friends, like, look what I've got. But it's actually the fragrance dispenser, which is another cool feature. If I can pop that back in and show you, there's some fragrances you can choose from in the climate control menu. Pure, natural, and sport, and you can put the level of them up. And they actually smell really nice. We played around with that today, and yeah, I like that. Other features you get for the seats up front: massage, cooling, and heating. Very nice. A heated steering wheel also features in top spec variants. Something else I mentioned is this rear view mirror. It sits a lot lower and sort of further back than a lot of cars I've driven recently, so it sort of took me by surprise. And it sits in sort of a different position because there's so much happening behind here. There's the dash camera and all the cameras and sensors for the driver assist features, so that took a little bit of getting used to. The other thing is there isn't a lot of vision out the rear end, so the rear windscreen is quite narrow and the headrests are not high, but they're sort of bigger than most, so they take up a bit of your rear view sort of vision, and that C-pillar is quite big too, so there are a little bit of a blind spots either side of this car when you're looking out the back. For now, the J8 is exclusively a 5-seater, but Jaecoo says a 7-seater might be on the cards, and that'll be important because rivals for this car from Hyundai, Kia, even Toyota, they all offer a 3rd row. So that's something that will be important for family buyers, and it could be a sticking point for some that need the extra space. The good thing though is there's a pretty big boot, which I'll show you in a second. But space back here is really good. You've got some Hyundai group style controls on this passenger seat, so anyone here can move this seat forward and tilt it forward if they want a little bit more space. Obviously you can't do that for the driver. The other thing that is a key difference between the 2-wheel drive and the all-wheel drive is only the all-wheel drive gets 10 airbags, which are some more airbags for this area here. The 2-wheel drive only has all the other airbags. It doesn't get these 2 here, but it has the curtain airbags that go all the way down, and it's obviously got all the other regular airbags. In terms of space, pretty good. There's a lot of space back here for my feet, and that's probably because you don't have that 3rd row as well, so keep in mind if it brings a 7-seater, then there might be a little bit less room. But amenities are pretty good too. There's some cup holders. You can fold that away. These seats also fold completely flat, which is nice, so you can put things in the boot a little bit easier rather than having that little step there. You've even got heated and cooled seats for the outboard in this top spec model, and then you've got the fan controls, USBs down here, and more aircon vents here. Like the front seats, you also get electric door releases, so you press that button there, and these guys do a really good job of the manual release, which is just down here. It's still not super obvious because it doesn't have a red symbol on it or anything, but it has got a little bit of a picture of a car with some doors. So it should be fairly easy to find if you need to, but let's go have a look at the boot. Now for the boot, being a 5-seater, this is really spacious, 738 litres, and you've got a flat fold or flat loading space here. The seats, as I mentioned, fold completely flat as well, so that's really good. It is a rather narrow sort of area though. It looks big, but it's deep. It's not super wide. The other thing that's really good, you get a full-size spare tyre in all grades, or all 2 of them. So full-size spare tyre, that's really good. Also, a safety triangle, so another little safety feature. Speaking of safety, here's one I prepared earlier, a safety hammer, and this lives in the center console of this car. These are coming out in more and more cars now, which really good safety feature. You just use them to smash the window out if you ever get trapped in the car, and there's a seatbelt cutter as well. If you're wondering what it's like to drive the J8, I've just jumped into the front wheel drive lower spec version, and I'm pretty impressed. It's got pretty good power from that 2-litre 4-cylinder turbo petrol, and it's really easy to drive. Like, it's nice to get around in, it's pretty comfortable. We took a few corners a bit more enthusiastically earlier, and the only complaint I had there, like the car felt really nice and flat, good grip, but the seat back doesn't have that much support. Like, it needs a bit more bolstering in the sides for, I guess, smaller people, because it felt like I was just kind of almost sliding off the seat at one point. But that's really the only sort of gripe I've had with it so far. And yeah, it's been easy to get around in, pretty comfortable. Really quiet too. I'm really impressed with how quiet the cabin is, especially in the all-wheel drive version. It seemed a bit quieter. So yeah, we were on some different roads earlier, so it might just be the road surface itself, and the fact that these are on cheaper Maxxis tyres, so that could be another thing. The flagship Ridge rides on Michelin rubber. One thing I will say though that I'm really impressed with is the driver assist aids and the calibration of them. When the Chery Motor 5 first came out, I drove that and I was really annoyed, I guess is probably the right word, with how poorly calibrated the safety systems were in the driver aids, and they would beep and bong every time you drive the car, telling you were distracted, or you know, the lane keep would always just move you in between the lines all the time, even though you felt like you were in the dead center. It was just really overbearing. I kind of expected, this being owned by Chery, I kind of expected a similar sort of experience, even though they did make a lot of improvements to their safety of the driver assist aids. But the calibration of the driver assist aids in the J8 is, like I said, really impressive. It's got everything there. It's got the traffic sign recognition or the speed sign recognition, the lane departure warning, lane centering with the adaptive cruise control, but none of it is overbearing, and especially the driver monitoring system. There's only been a few times where that's come up when I've been checking the blind spots, so I've turned my head, but it only comes up with a message. It's not like beeping and screaming at me. So yeah, I'm really impressed by some of the systems in this car, because it's just nice in the background and unintrusive, and I think that means either they're not very good or they're too good, and I'd like to find out which that is. For how impressed we were initially, we did experience some rather intrusive and annoying behaviour on the last part of our drive, particularly when testing the J8's lane centering function. You can read the full review at carsales.com.au to find out more. Thanks for joining us for a first look at the new Jaecoo J8 SUV. Let us know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and give us a thumbs up. See you next time.